Microsoft just gave us an easier way to buy its next-gen console. What's up everybody, Brad here, and Microsoft announced something interesting today, and at the surface, it may not sound all that interesting, but once you kind of dig into it, there's a lot of details here. So Microsoft announced the triumphant return of the Xbox All Access. Now, if you remember this from before, this is a way to buy a console, but in monthly installment payments. So Microsoft is back with the platform or the service again, and they're offering it in a variety of flavors in the United States, the UK, and surprisingly, actually, in Australia. And the reason why I say surprising Australia, it's actually launching in Australia first, I believe starting tomorrow, and then followed by the US and UK in early November. But what they're doing here is they're offering up 3 consoles, the Xbox One X, the Xbox One S, and then the Xbox One S All Digital Edition. And so what you can do is for a monthly fee, depending on the console, you can buy, but what you're really doing is making payments for this thing over 24 months. And if you get the lowest entry price is $19.99 a month, and that will get you the Xbox One S All Digital Edition. It gets you 24 months of Game Pass Ultimate, and that's kind of the bundle here. You get a console, you get Game Pass Ultimate, which includes Gold and Game Pass, so you really don't have to worry about any more fees, if you will. This will give you the console and everything you need to start playing hundreds of games and online with your friends. Now, for $22.99 a month, you get the Xbox One S, which obviously just is the same as the digital, but has the disc drive. Or for $30.99 a month, you can get the Xbox One X, the 4K gaming machine from the Xbox family. Now, how does Scarlett play into this? Well, this is why I think this program is actually pretty interesting, because in about a year from now, give or take a couple weeks maybe at this point, they're going to be launching the Scarlett console. And Microsoft understands that, hey, maybe people aren't going to want to buy a console right now because in a year it's going to be outdated. There's going to be a new console. So why don't we give these people an easier way to buy a console and then upgrade to Scarlett when it arrives, well, in a year. And so they've got a couple metrics that prove this, right? We all know Xbox hardware sales are declining quarter over quarter for reasons. One, it's very late in the life cycle of that product. And again, they've been very publicly beating the drum that Scarlett is coming out next year. Next holiday shopping season 2020 officially is the word by Microsoft. So here is the deal, and here's got some of the finer details that you need to understand. For $30.99 a month, Microsoft will let you buy or rent, effectively lease, I should say, an Xbox One X. Now, in 12 months, after you've made 12 installment payments, you will be able to trade that in towards an Xbox Scarlett. I believe more than likely what's going to happen is you're just going to take on new payments for that Scarlett console, but you're not going to have to completely buy an Xbox One X, which can run you somewhere between $300 and $400 depending on how you buy it and where you buy it and all that good stuff. So keep that in mind. So basically what you do is you make it 12 payments in this case, and then you can trade it in. Now, you got to be careful because it's only 12 payments depending on when you're watching this. If you do this before the end of 2019, and you have to make 12 payments before you can do the upgrade. If you buy this in, say, January of 2020, you're going to have to do 18 payments before you can upgrade to a Scarlett. Now, with the Xbox One S and the Xbox One S All Digital Edition, there is no 12-month thing. You have to make a minimum of 18 months payments before you can upgrade to the Scarlett console. But there's a catch in there too, and this one I think is interesting as well. If you do the Xbox One S All Digital Edition, it says that there's going to be a fee when you go to exchange it for the Scarlett console. They don't tell us what that fee is, but I would have to think that Microsoft is hedging their bets that the Xbox One S All Digital Edition is going to have a pretty low resale value, because obviously they're going to take these things, probably repackage them and sell them as refurbished. And they're already telling us that the digital edition, you're going to have to pay a little extra money to get that next gen console. Now, I'd be curious to see what they're actually going to charge per month on 24 months, if it's going to be the same price as the Xbox One X. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a little bit higher. But this is honestly not a bad deal. Typically, I'm pretty against these type of lease programs. Like, if you can't pay for it all up front, don't buy it. It's just generally good financial advice. Nobody likes monthly payments for the most part. But this one might actually make sense because, as I said earlier, this ties into the 1 year of the 1 year before Scarlett launches. And if you go spend several $100s on Well, it's still tough because at $30.99 a month, if you make 12 payments, you're still paying $360 for a console that then you don't own. There's the one thing that's holding me back on this is we don't know what the value proposition is when we trade in for the Scarlett. There's still a little bit unknown, but typically I bet Microsoft comes out ahead. But this is a way for you to get an Xbox One X or other console without completely owning it and paying less money realistically, and then getting to trade in for that better console. So if you don't want to fully commit to a console, this is the way to go because Microsoft will let you do this for a year on the Xbox One X only. The other ones you're paying 18 months, so they're not as good of a deal. So more, I should refine that and say, if you're thinking about buying an Xbox One X, this might be a much better route if you don't have Game Pass already or Gold, because you're going to get that value bundled in. So Microsoft is officially saying that you'll save $100 by doing this with Xbox All Access. It's up to you whether or not you think that this is a good deal. I'm slightly leaning towards it actually is a decent deal. I mean, it's not like the be all end all, like you're a fire sale by any means, but for those of you who know you're going to be buying a Scarlett console and you know that you really want an Xbox One X because your OG just kicked the bucket, or the Xbox One S just isn't cutting it anymore on your 4K TV, but you didn't want to buy an X because it's too late in the life cycle, this honestly might be the route for you. Make sure you look in. Now, the other thing you need to know is that you have to trade it in for that trade-in program wherever you finance this or wherever you buy it from effectively, which right now is only available at Amazon, but that will expand to other locations here in the not too distant future. So there you go, guys. If you've been thinking about buying an X and you haven't really been doing it, but you really want to get a Scarlett and you're looking for the easiest way without a whole bunch of money up front, Xbox All Access might be for you. It's worth checking out before you go and buy a console without Gold or Game Pass, because this has it all bundled in for one monthly fee. That's not too bad.